In the Yoruba tradition, we have what is called Oju. Everybody say Oju.
Oju.
Oju is literally a term that means womb, but it is also the term that we use for the body of our information, our scriptures, to make it, try to help people to understand it, okay? Every Oju is made up of what we call Itan. Everybody say Itan.
Itan.
Itan are like the stories, the different tellings of the different memories in the Oju. So I want to share with you today the Itan, the Oju of Oshe Tura. Everybody say Oshe Tura.
Oshe Tura.
Right. All right, so in the time before time, the forces, the cosmic forces got together and they said we are going to create planets and physical life, right? And Olodumare, which is the complete concentration of all existence, said we are going to need 401 cosmic forces to do this work of creating physical life, right? And so there were 400 masculine forces and 1 feminine force. And we're going to let that just speak for itself. And so they came into the physical realm. And Olodumare said, I need for you to create a grove for us to worship in, because our ancestors worshipped outside in beautiful natural settings called groves. And they said, obviously after that, I need for you to till the soil so we can grow some food, right? And then I need for you to get the land cultivated so we can build some dwellings. Because in this physical realm, you're going to need dwellings, places to live. And so the 400 dudes got together. And they was like, yo, what's up, man? How we gonna do this thing? I don't know, man. I think we should do this, that, and the third. And the one feminine being that came with them was Oshun. Have mercy. Now Oshun is the cosmic force of beauty and love and sensuality and female sexuality. So y'all know how she walked up in there, right?
The baddest.
Right. And she was like, oh, what y'all think we should do? And they were like, we hungry. And she was like, oh, okay, I'm down in here. I'm like, little elbow, little goosey, Okay, that's not what I expected, but all right, here y'all go. She brought them, little elbow, little goosey. And if you have had elbow and a goosey.
Yes.
And so she brought that to them, There you go, little elbow, little goosey. And they started talking again. And she said, well, I was thinking that we should. And they were like, we thirsty. So she went and got a little palm wine. And if you've ever had palm wine, she got a little palm wine, served a little palm wine. And they drank and they ate. And every time she tried to give them some input, they would relegate her to the kitchen. And she was a badass cook, but I'm just saying. Right? So the next day they said, okay, we think we're gonna put it right here, and they started measuring out the thises and the that's. And again, Oshun tried to give her input. And again they were like, well, we haven't had breakfast, well, we haven't had lunch. Oh, my stomach is rumbling. I'm hungry. Where's the food, Oshun? This is the answer that she was getting, right? So this went on and on. And so finally Oshun decided to approach Olodumare. And she went to Olodumare and she said, every time I try to give input, they keep sending me to the kitchen. What should I do? And Olodumare, the concentration of all existence, said, you do whatever you feel like doing. And I'm going to give you the ashe. To handle it however you want to. And Oshun said, okay. And if y'all know any children of Oshun, she came on back down to the physical realm, to earth. And she went and got her in a beautiful spring. She started bathing herself lusciously, Peacocks was fluttering around and making their little noise. And she got out some of this same sandalwood and was anointing herself, And finally the male, beings came sniffing around. What's up? What's going on? She was like, nothing. over here, baby. And they was like, okay, well, we're going to go on and start just working, doing this so-and-so that we said we was going to do. Shun stayed by the spring. And so they tilled the soil to create the grove. They cleared all the trees out so they have a beautiful grove to worship in. And they went to bed that night. And when they woke up that next morning, it was all grown up again. It was as though they had done nothing. And then they said, well, okay, maybe it's because we started on the wrong. Let's go and try the one with the houses. So we don't go up here and do this. Yeah, we did the wrong thing first. That's what it was. So they went over here and they made the land flat so they could build some dwellings. And that takes all day long. I don't know if y'all have ever done that. Turned over earth and got anything. That takes a long time. And it is a tedious process. And then you have to use your whole body. And they had completely done that. And they went to bed. And they woke up the next morning. It was all as though they had done nothing. Completely wild land again. And they said, okay, maybe we're supposed to do the food one first. They turned over all that earth. And now they hadn't invented no horses or nothing yet, y'all. So they were doing it by hand. They turned over all this earth. Got the ground ready to grow food. They went to bed and they came back and it was all grown up again. And so the masculine deities went to Olodumare and said, this thing that you have told us to do is impossible. It cannot be done. The physical realm is it flourishes so greatly that every time we try to do something, it grows back up again. It's not possible to make a space for people to live and to be. And Olodumare said, well, what did Oshun say? What was her thoughts on it? And they said, we didn't ask her. And Olodumare said, you need to go on back down there and ask Oshun. So they went and found Oshun in the place where she had bathed and oiled herself. And of course, she wasn't wearing nothing but some brass waist beads, A few brass anklets, couple of brass bracelets, that was it. Twirling, twittering around, dripping in honey, just looking delectable. And so they said, Lord Murray said that we should ask you, what needs to be done? And she was like, oh, yeah, but y'all ain't hungry, y'all didn't. No, we just was wondering about this thing, how to get this earth thing popping off. She was like, oh, but y'all don't want nothing to drink? I know, we fine. We're really just trying to get, your intellectual, input. And Oshun said, you will never get it again. You will never get my input again. And she said, but I'm pregnant. And I'm going to give birth. And if I give birth to a male child, then you will have access to Ashe through him. But you won't have it through me. Ashe is feminine. Life force power is feminine. Right? This is the only place that it comes from. Right? So she said, you won't have to have access to it if this isn't a masculine child. And she said, so every day of this next 9 months, I want you to come and give me your Ashe. Put your hands on my head and fill me up with your Ashe and pray that this is a masculine child. Because if it ain't, then this is over. What we were going to do is over. And so they came every day, all 400 of the masculine deities, and they would say prayers over the head of Oshun, oh, please let this be a masculine child. And she gave birth, and as is the custom in the Yoruba tradition, she didn't come out of the house for 7 days, right? So, oh my God, nobody knew, right? What is going to happen? And she finally comes out, and she says that the name of this child is Ashe Tunua, which means Ashe has returned. So it was a male child. And this is who we propitiate in the tradition as Eshu, right? As Elegba, Papa Legba. So all over the black world, globally, we have a little man who sits at the crossroads, right? Crossroads. This is where this being was born. This is the story of how that being was born and why he exists, right? So Oshun said, all right, so now you have access to my Ashe, but only through this being. And you don't get access to the feminine Ashe any other way. And so at the end of this Odu, they say, and this is how women came to hold all power unto this day. So that anything that you choose to do cannot be done without them. Our ancestors said, bend your knee to woman. It is woman that brought you into this world and recognized you as a being before you even knew yourself to exist. All right? That is you. That is the metaphysical nature of the Ashe. Ashe.